Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal as secrets that have long been buried are brought to the surface. General Hospital is entering a turbulent period, one that threatens to shatter relationships that once seemed unbreakable. Among the most significant of these relationships is the bond between Carly and Jason. For years, they have shared an unwavering connection, built on trust, loyalty, and shared history. However, the very foundation of their relationship is now being tested in ways neither of them could have anticipated. The catalyst for this upheaval is the truth about Carly's daughter, Josslyn, whose actions have now become the deciding factor in the future of Charlie. A relationship once thought to be impenetrable now faces the very real threat of collapse. Jason's decision to withhold the truth about Josslyn's role within the WSB, the covert intelligence agency where she has been working as an undercover operative, has thrown Carly's world into chaos. The revelation of this secret strikes Carly with the force of a sledgehammer, shattering the trust she had placed in Jason. For years, Carly has been the one to protect her family, to keep her loved ones safe, but now, she feels as though she has been kept in the dark about something incredibly important. Josslyn's sudden, mysterious trip to Europe only raises more questions for Carly, who, despite her deep affection for Jason, cannot shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. As her concern for her daughter grows, so too does her suspicion that Jason is hiding something from her. Jason, always driven by a deep need to protect the people he loves, kept this secret with the best of intentions. He was acting out of a desire to shield Josslyn, and Carly, from the dangers that come with her covert mission. He believed that keeping her involvement with the WSB a secret was the best way to keep her safe. However, Jason never anticipated the consequences of his silence. In his attempt to protect Josslyn, he inadvertently created a chasm between himself and Carly, a gap so wide that it now threatens to undo everything they have built together. Jason, though well-meaning, failed to see that his silence would be seen as a betrayal by the very person he had always trusted most, Carly. For Carly, the discovery of Jason's deception cuts deeper than any physical wound. She has always prided herself on her strength, on her ability to face the world head-on, but this betrayal shakes her to her core. The trust she has placed in Jason, a man who has been by her side through thick and thin, is shattered. Carly is a woman who is fiercely protective of her family, and the idea that Jason, of all people, would keep her in the dark about something so vital makes her question everything she thought she knew about him. She cannot understand how the man she loves could betray her in such a fundamental way, hiding the truth not just about Josslyn, but about the very real dangers she is facing. As Carly uncovers the truth, the fury within her is impossible to contain. It erupts like a volcano, consuming her every thought and action. The emotional devastation Carly feels is unparalleled. It is not just about the secret itself, but about the realization that Jason has kept her at arm's length, preventing her from being involved in something so crucial to her family's safety. Carly feels as though everything she has known to be true about Jason has been a lie. The very foundation of their relationship is crumbling, and Carly's anger becomes a force of nature. Her trust, once so unwavering, is now a casualty of Jason's silence, and she finds herself questioning whether she can ever trust him again. This moment of betrayal brings Carly to a breaking point. She confronts Jason, demanding answers, her voice sharp and filled with raw emotion. Jason, knowing that his actions have irrevocably damaged the relationship, tries to explain himself, to justify the secrecy by pointing to his need to protect Josslyn. But for Carly, the damage is already done. She cannot understand why Jason would choose to keep such an important truth from her, and the betrayal stings deeper with each passing moment. It is not just about the danger Josslyn faces, it is about the fact that Jason has made a decision for Carly, without her input, and in doing so, he has undermined the very trust that once held them together. The emotional weight of this revelation is compounded by the return of Britt, a figure from Jason's past. Despite everything that has happened, Jason cannot seem to forget the connection he once shared with Britt. Their bond, forged through shared experiences and a mutual understanding of the dangers they face, is undeniable. When Jason last saw Britt at the Paris airport, the old feelings resurfaced, and now, in the midst of his crumbling relationship with Carly, those feelings threatened to pull him in a new direction. Could the breakdown of his relationship with Carly lead him back into Britt's arms? As Carly's anger pushes Jason further away, Britt's presence looms large, offering a potential escape from the turmoil that now defines his life. Britt's return is not without its complications. Lisa Lobrecht, Britt's mother, is unaware that her daughter is still alive, and if she were to find out, it could send shockwaves through the entire situation. Liesl has always been fiercely protective of her daughter, and her involvement could add an entirely new layer of complexity to the already tangled web of emotions and secrets surrounding Jason, Carly, and Britt. Jason's feelings for Britt, which have never truly gone away, could be the key to unraveling the tense standoff between him and Carly. But even as he grapples with his past feelings for Britt, Jason knows that he must make a choice, one that will determine the course of his future. For Carly, the discovery of Jason's deception is a painful reminder of how fragile relationships can be. She must come to terms with the fact that the man she loves has chosen to protect Josslyn at her expense, and whether or not she can forgive him remains uncertain. The anger she feels could lead her to sever all ties with Jason, pushing him into Britt's arms, or it could spark a painful reconciliation. But for Carly, the decision to forgive Jason will not be easy. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild, and the chasm between them seems impossible to bridge. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that the future of Carly and Jason's relationship hangs in the balance. The choices they make will determine not just their fate, but the fate of their family. Will Jason be able to repair the damage he has caused, or will Carly's anger be the final nail in the coffin of their relationship? And in the midst of this emotional turmoil, what role will Britt play in Jason's life? Will she become the one he turns to for solace, or will their past remain just that, a distant memory? General Hospital has set the stage for a heartbreaking, high-stakes drama that promises to change everything. As secrets continue to be revealed, alliances will shift, and characters will be forced to confront the consequences of their actions. Carly and Jason's journey is far from over, and the road ahead is filled with emotional landmines that will test their love, loyalty, and trust. The coming weeks will determine whether their relationship can survive the devastating blows it has endured or if the fractures will prove too deep to heal. As the storm of secrets continues to rage through General Hospital, the lives of its characters are increasingly defined by the tangled webs of love, betrayal, and unresolved emotions. One of the most heart-wrenching and complex storylines centers around Carly and Jason, a pair whose bond has been tested time and time again but who have always managed to survive whatever challenges life threw their way. Yet now, they find themselves facing an unprecedented crisis that threatens not only their relationship but the very foundation of their trust in one another. At the heart of this turmoil is Josslyn, Carly's daughter, whose dangerous secret has remained hidden from her mother and has now set in motion a chain of events that could break Carly apart forever. Jason's decision to keep Josslyn's involvement with the WSB, a covert intelligence agency, secret from Carly has sent shockwaves through their already strained relationship. Carly, a woman fiercely protective of her family and deeply devoted to Jason, had always placed her trust in him, believing that he would never keep her in the dark about something so significant. But when the truth about Josslyn's covert mission is finally revealed, Carly's world crumbles. The shock of learning that Jason, the man she has always turned to, has hidden such a dangerous secret from her is overwhelming. Carly has spent years protecting her family, fighting against every threat, but this feels different. Jason's silence feels like a betrayal, and the realization that he has been keeping something so important from her leaves Carly reeling. Josslyn's mysterious and sudden trip to Europe had already sparked Carly's concerns. Her daughter, who had always been a source of pride and joy, had become increasingly distant, and Carly couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. But it wasn't until she uncovered the truth about Jason's role in keeping Josslyn's secret that Carly's suspicions were confirmed. The depth of Jason's deception cuts deeper than any physical wound she has ever faced. Carly is not just angry, she is heartbroken. She cannot fathom how Jason, the man she has loved for so long, could betray her in this way. She questions everything about their relationship. Was everything they shared built on a lie? How could he have kept her out of the loop when it came to their daughter's safety? For Jason, the decision to keep Josslyn's secret was not made lightly. His primary motivation was to protect her, to shield her from the dangers that come with working as a WSB agent. Jason has always been a man driven by the need to protect the people he loves, and he believed that keeping Carly out of the danger Josslyn was facing was the right thing to do. But Jason never anticipated the consequences of his silence. In his mind, he was acting out of love for Carly, trying to keep her safe from the brutal realities of the world he lives in. Yet, by doing so, he has inadvertently destroyed the trust they built over the years. The betrayal feels like a knife in Carly's heart, and the damage is far from easy to repair. When Carly finally discovers the truth, her fury knows no bounds. She confronts Jason, demanding answers, her voice thick with emotion. She questions why Jason didn't trust her enough to tell her the truth, why he chose to protect Josslyn by keeping her in the dark. Carly has always been the one to hold her family together, and the idea that Jason would exclude her from such an important matter is unfathomable to her. She feels betrayed, abandoned, and utterly alone. The anger she feels is overwhelming, and it takes every ounce of her strength to keep herself composed. But even as she stands before Jason, the weight of his deception is too much to bear. Jason, for his part, is devastated by Carly's reaction. He never wanted to hurt her, but he knows that his decision to keep her in the dark about Josslyn's mission has caused irreparable harm. Jason has always been the strong, silent type, but in this moment, he realizes that his silence has cost him dearly. His heart aches as he watches Carly, his rock, his partner, fall apart in front of him. He knows that he cannot undo the damage he has caused, but he desperately wants to find a way to make things right. But the situation becomes even more complicated when Britt Westbourne, the woman from Jason's past whom he has never fully been able to forget, reappears in his life. Britt's sudden return to Port Charles adds a new layer of tension to an already volatile situation. Jason had seen her at the Paris airport just a month ago, and the moment their eyes met, all the old feelings he had for her resurfaced. Their history, fraught with both passion and pain, is something Jason has never truly been able to move beyond. Despite the time that has passed, Britt still holds a piece of Jason's heart, and the connection between them is undeniable. Britt has always been a strong, intelligent woman, someone who has had a complicated and often tumultuous relationship with Jason. They have shared moments of tenderness, but their relationship has also been filled with obstacles, misunderstandings, miscommunications, and betrayal. Yet, when Jason saw Britt again in Paris, a spark was reignited in his heart. The feelings he had tried to bury resurfaced, and despite everything that had happened between them, the pull he feels toward her is undeniable. While Carly's anger and heartbreak consume her, Jason finds himself in an emotional conflict. He has always cared for Carly, but Britt's presence brings with it a temptation that he cannot easily ignore. Britt is someone who understands him in ways that Carly never could. She has been there for him in the past, and the emotional connection between them is still very much alive. Jason knows that his loyalty to Carly has been tested, but he cannot shake the fact that his unresolved feelings for Britt are pulling him in her direction. However, Carly's relationship with Britt has never been smooth. From the beginning, Carly has been deeply suspicious of Britt, and her mistrust of her only grew as time went on. Carly has always felt that Britt's motives are unclear, that there is something hidden beneath her calm, confident exterior. The tension between them has only grown over the years, and Carly has never been comfortable with the idea of Jason being involved with Britt, especially after everything that happened in the past. Carly's anger toward Britt could easily escalate, especially as she sees Jason's feelings for her begin to resurface. As Jason finds himself torn between the two women, Carly's jealousy and resentment toward Britt grow stronger. Carly has always been fiercely protective of her family, and the idea that Jason might once again fall for someone who has caused her so much turmoil is unbearable. She cannot help but feel betrayed by both Jason and Britt, and her emotional state becomes more volatile with each passing moment. As Jason grapples with his feelings for Britt, Carly's fury at both of them could push him further away, creating a rift that may be impossible to mend. For Jason, the situation is a nightmare. He knows that he cannot keep living in the shadow of his past with Britt, but he also cannot deny the depth of the feelings he has for her. However, the last thing he wants is to hurt Carly further. His loyalty to her has always been paramount, but now, as the anger between them escalates, Jason faces an impossible choice. Will he reconcile with Carly, or will the pull of his past with Britt be too strong to ignore? As the story unfolds, the emotional tension between Jason, Carly, and Britt will only intensify. The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences of Jason's decisions will ripple through the lives of everyone involved. Will Jason be able to repair his fractured relationship with Carly, or will Britt's reappearance be the catalyst that pushes him away from her for good? The drama is far from over, and the coming episodes of General Hospital promise to bring more heartbreak, more choices, and more consequences as these complex emotional dynamics unfold. As the intricate web of secrets continues to unravel in General Hospital, the situation becomes ever more perilous for the central characters, especially Carly, Jason, and Britt. What started as a simple issue of trust has now evolved into a complex web of betrayal, fear, and deep emotional turmoil. Each character is facing their own battles. Whether it's the remnants of a once unbreakable relationship, a mother's fierce devotion to her child, or the re-emergence of a past love that stirs up emotions that were thought to be long buried. With the revelation of Josslyn's role in the covert operations of the WSB, the landscape has shifted dramatically, and what is at stake is more than just relationships, it's the very foundation of trust that holds the lives of these characters together. Jason's decision to keep Josslyn's involvement in the WSB mission a secret from Carly has been the match that ignited this devastating firestorm. He believed that by keeping Carly in the dark, he was protecting her from the dangerous world that Josslyn had become a part of. Jason has always considered himself a protector, someone who shields his loved ones from harm, but in this instance, his well-meaning silence has become the greatest threat to his relationship with Carly. Jason's internal conflict over this decision has been immense, but he convinced himself that withholding the truth was necessary for Josslyn's safety, and Carly's peace of mind. However, he failed to realize that the deeper the secret went, the more damage it would cause. The wall of silence he constructed to protect Carly is now the very thing that stands between them. Carly, for her part, is devastated by the revelation. She's a woman who has prided herself on being the backbone of her family, someone who protects everyone she loves with everything she has. To find out that Jason, the man she has trusted and loved for years, chose to keep her in the dark about something so important is a betrayal unlike any other. The mother in Carly cannot fathom how Jason could protect her from everything in the world yet fail to protect her from the most significant truth of all. The truth about her daughter's involvement in such a dangerous mission. Carly, a woman who is used to being the one who holds her family together, now feels isolated, vulnerable, and deeply hurt. The revelation of Josslyn's mission sets off a deep and uncontrollable wave of anger in Carly. This betrayal, fueled by months of silence, becomes too much for her to bear. As Carly confronts Jason, her fury is palpable, and she demands answers. She can't understand why he kept such a critical secret from her, why he didn't trust her enough to share the truth. The emotional devastation in Carly's heart is immense, and in her pain, her anger, and her heartbreak, Carly might not be able to see a way back to Jason. The damage, in her eyes, may be irreparable. Despite Jason's desire to protect her, Carly feels that his actions have driven a wedge between them so deep that no amount of explanations or apologies can fix it. As Carly's anger and hurt reach a boiling point, Jason, too, finds himself facing the painful consequences of his actions. He never wanted to hurt Carly, but he realizes now that his silence has led them to the brink of destruction. Jason has always been a man who acts out of love, but in this instance, his choice to keep the truth from Carly has led to a fracture he never expected. He's torn between the loyalty he has to Carly and the unspoken, unresolved feelings he has for Britt. The emotional tug-of-war between his love for Carly and his lingering affection for Britt is further complicated by his guilt. He never wanted to hurt Carly, yet here they are, at a crossroads, where the future of their relationship hangs in the balance. Enter Britt Westbourne, Jason's former love, the woman who has always held a special place in his heart. Although their relationship was fraught with complications and challenges, the connection they share has never fully disappeared. When Jason saw Britt again at the airport in Paris a month ago, those old feelings rushed back. The chemistry, the unspoken bond, they were all there, waiting to resurface.